The Brioche Break ebook is a new digital collection of 6 patterns that's all about stash busting and marling. So every single pattern uses 2 strands of fingering weight held together. I used our Westwool Bicycle. It's a non-superwash merino yarn, so when you hold 2 strands together, you get a DK or worsted weight gauge. And with that Westwool Bicycle, it creates a really squishy and structured fabric. So it's very soft and you get that extra thick squish with the 2 strands held together. And they all started for me with the sweater. So the Brioche Break sweater starts at the top, and I was playing with little brioche stitches. I wanted to scratch that brioche itch. I needed a new brioche project on my needles, but I didn't want to do an entirely brioche sweater. So I came up with these little brioche breaks, and what I was pleasantly surprised with was when you combine brioche stitch with the stockinette stitch, the brioche is a little bit poofier, and it made these really cool ridges in the fabric. So I love that every now and then you get this little squishy ribbed texture as you're wearing it. It just, yeah, it feels really cloudy and squishy and nice. So with the stockinette stitch, it's a little more smooth, so the brioche pops out with those ridges. I decided to use a different color combo in every single section. A few of the colors repeat. I used like maybe 16 colors in this sweater, so it's really good for stash busting those little bits of fingering weight yarn. So if you've got those buckets of color, you could knit a blue sweater and just experiment. You could do a swatch if you wanted to test the colors, or just try it out. Cast on and put 2 colors together, and then in the next section, put another 2 colors together, and let yourself be surprised with the fun marled mixes that occur throughout your project. So that Brioche Break sweater, it's a lot of different colors, some warm ones, some greens, and I feel like a few of the colors repeat. There we go. So this was the chestnut colorway and the corduroy colorway held together, and then I repeated the same combinations later in my sleeves. So you could make a color pattern, or just every single time there's a stripe, just put in a new color. One thing that occurs with the Brioche Break sweater is as you're doing that Brioche Break ribbing, it staggers the colors. That brioche stitch helps by interlocking the colors, so visually there's a little bit of a transition as you're going from that dark, it becomes the knit stitch in the brioche, and the new color becomes the background brioche stitch. So rather than just having a chunky stop and start between the colors, they are interwoven with that brioche ribbed shadow effect. So really happy with that multicolor sample. In the pattern, I wrote it for 4 colors. So it's written for a main color and contrast color. So the main color is the collar combination, a dark and a light gray, and the contrast color is the next combination. So main color, contrast color. You could do a 4-color version like this, 2 colors held together for the main, 2 colors held together for the contrast. Really, really simple, and just repeat, or use a different color for every single section. So you'll find the Brioche Break sweater, a yoke, top-down yoke sweater pattern in the ebook, and there's a beautiful cardiganized version as well. So it's the same construction, top-down, but the cardigan is knit flat with a big ribbed button band added. So if you like that cardigan layering type of garment, you can throw this over your t-shirts or button-downs and have a nice little cozy throw-on piece for the Brioche Break cardigan. So same construction, and once I was playing with all these marled mixtures, I just got obsessed with the types of color combinations you can get, because you can go really subtle by mixing 2 very similar tones together, and they just make a new shade of gray, or you could go really bold by mixing 2 completely different colors together, and it just creates a really fun marled spiral effect in the fabric. So after I knitted the sweater, I was like, I need this little Brioche Break for a cute little hat and a cowl. So in the ebook, you'll find a really simple, beginner-friendly hat to practice your brioche stitches. The Brioche Break hat has a folded hem. So you'll start with that stockinette stitch hem, and then you get to the good brioche ribbing. So a nice simple hat to play with new color combos together. Really fun and easy, quick project to make. There's a tubular cowl. The cowl is knit in the round with lots of splashy marled combinations. So it's a reversible tube, and you knit in the round and then sew the tube together. So it's really nice and warm for that fingering weight marled effect. These were a lot of different West wool colors, and I was playing a lot with contrast with this palette. So instead of two colors that were really similar held together, I put like a peach and a purple, something light and something dark. Green, olive green, and the taffy pink color. So I was playing with lots of different mixed high contrast choices, orange and blue. So it creates this very busy, fun, scrappy kind of effect. And then you'll get a semicircular shawl in the ebook. This is knit top down, and I used 10 colors for the shawl. With that thicker gauge, these types of projects, the hat and the shawl, they go a lot quicker than your standard fingering weight garments because it's done on a US 6 or US 7 needle. I would maybe go a little bit higher, like a US 7, even a US 8 5mm would be good for the bicycle held double. And I just love the blues and aquas playing together in this fabric. So 10 colors. It's quite mesmerizing how different the colors look once you start to marl. Sometimes you don't really know the exact effect you get until you start knitting. So for me, that's the fun of it. But again, if you really want to control the contrast and color style, then do a little swatch, get your yarns together, and play with some colorful mixes. For example, in the beginning, I had this soft blue, like a dusty blue, together with that royal, and they're really different types of colors on their own, but when you mix them together, you get this new, beautiful mixture. And one of my favorites is that aquamarine. This is our bright turquoise, aqua blue color, and look how crazy intense and light and bright it is, but once you mix it with that green olive, with this colorway, it really just kind of brings the brightness of this color down, and the green olive makes this murky mix with the blue and green. I just love that moment. So really fun and playful to see what the colors do, how they transform for the Brioche break shawl. And we've got the sweater, the cardigan, the hat and cowl. You'll get some socks. These are very quick, super small project, and this palette I played more with blending colors together rather than putting like a yellow and a blue together. I put two yellows together. So these I dove into my Scrappy sock yarn bucket, and one was a little brighter, a little darker. So sometimes you have all these leftover sock yarns that they're not quite enough to do a whole pair of socks. So what to do with those leftovers? Just make little pairings, make a new color by blending them together. And you just hold two strands and you make a new tone of yellow. And I did the same thing with these grays. One was a speckled gray and one was a solid creamy gray. So I held one strand of each for that light contrast color. And then finally I held these two dark neutrals together for the dark moment. So you can see the little contrast marl texture, but it's a bit more of a solid color blocked style for the Brioche break socks. So this ebook is filled with the little accessories, and then you can dive into the bigger garments to paint with your yarns. They're all on Ravelry or Westknits.com to download as the ebook, or if you just want one of the patterns, like just the socks or just the sweater, you can get those as single downloads as well. I'll put links to all these patterns and yarns for you to collect those color ideas down below, and can't wait to see which one is your favorite. So let me know in the comments down below if you like the garment, if you're gonna knit a sweater and make that big, scrappy, multicolor sweater, or do you like the little small accessories? I'm really feeling, I love making these small projects in between my bigger shawls and sweaters. So let me know down below if you're gonna do some socks, or gift knit a little hat, or dive into one of the bigger garments. So thanks for watching, and I hope you love playing with those marled mixes and let your color experimentation run free.